Star Wars Squadrons is the next big Star Wars game set to be released. A Star Wars flight sim, it finds itself in a niche category than its other major recent Star Wars releases. As such, the developers, Motive Studios, have decided to take a number of different steps with the release of this game, such as having no live service plan and lowering the price from the standard American $60 to the lower $40. How does that affect people from other countries? Well, in South Africa it seems to be all over the place. On the PSN store right now, the game is 630 Rand. It is 650 Rand on other digital storefronts such as the Xbox store and Steam. And while the pre-order prices vary among the brick and mortar stores, the final price, it seems, will be 800 Rand. So it seems there will be a 150 Rand price difference between the physical and digital counterparts at launch. And right now, you cannot pre-order a physical version for a price cheaper or on par with its digital counterpart. Game prices in South Africa have been more varied in this generation than in any other. During the PS2 era, for example, almost all games were stuck around 600 Rand. When the generation after that came around, prices slowly adjusted to around 800 Rand, with a handful of games choosing to stick to a 600 Rand or 700 Rand price tag. However, as soon as the current generation got kicked off in 2014, there was no set price point. Big games in the early days seemed to have their price point dictated by their publisher. Of course, Activision pushed for most of its games to be the max 1,150 Rand. EA seemed to like 1,100 Rand, but sometimes lowered selected games to 1,000 Rand. And most big publishers like Ubisoft or PlayStation Studios stuck to 1,000 Rand until last year. However, some of the biggest and most critically acclaimed games, such as The Witcher 3 and Metal Gear Solid 5, were sold day one for 850 Rand. Now, I believe 900 Rand would have actually been a really great point for an anchor price, as it was roughly equivalent to what $60 plus tax would have been around that era. To judge Squadron's price, we could use 1,000 Rand or more recently 1,100 Rand that most games are priced at these days, and adjusted by the 1.5 factor that decreases $60 to $40. With that, we can see that 650 Rand is around an equivalent price drop. If we were to use $40 plus tax now conversion, we can see that around 760 Rand is more accurate. I guess it just comes down to how companies, both local and abroad, choose to view selling games in South Africa. I would be remiss if I did not mention that the digital prices are all for pre-order, which tends to shave around or anywhere from 30 Rand to 130 Rand off the price, and thus we have no way of verifying what the digital price would be at launch. So take all prices here with a pinch of salt. Another factor is that we are heading into the digital age, with downloading and its advantages of preloading and no disk exchange rapidly becoming more commonplace. The fact that the PS5 will launch with a digital-only version proves this, and maybe provides a justifiable reason as to why physical versions of games will become more expensive, as being shown by these Squadrons prices. Future prices are very much up in the air still. What with the price changes that happen every generation here, as well as the fluctuating prices that were present in this generation, as well as Take-Two stating that NBA 2K17 will be $70 on the next generation, marking the first time the price of video games will have risen beyond $60 in America. That will probably push publishers to do what they did here in a foreign market in America. However, if it is just like what happened here, better publishers like CD Projekt Red and Capcom and such will keep prices low while keeping game qualities high, and Take-Two, Activision and the likes will continue to produce their standard games while seeking to maximize the price. Sony and Microsoft will most likely publish most of their games at a price somewhere in the middle, and only at the end raise the price by a few bucks. So I guess we can look forward to that and what effects will have in America, here in South Africa, and all over the world. One tip I do have, if this turns out to be the case, is wait. Games tend to go on sale pretty fast, except for, Nintendo games for obvious Nintendo reasons. And quite often digital prices will drop to affordable levels around 6 months after launch. I am still very excited for Squadrons, despite not knowing the price, or if the prices will remain where they are, or if they will increase. Motive have expressed how much value they want to pack into this relatively small game, so hopefully, despite all the mess with the prices, it will still be worth every cent.